Hello and welcome to another Dubb.com live stream. We have some big Dubb feature announcements today, and I have Ruben Dua here to explain them all. Ruben, what do we have?
Yeah, today we are going to announce a couple of things that people have been waiting for, which is the ability to create tasks on Dubb, but then also smarter ways to set up your automation, specifically call to action tracking and task creation. So people have been asking for tasks on Dubb because a lot of what we do on Dubb is we send personalized videos. We send one-to-one videos to people that are in our network, right? So the thing that I think a lot of people have had to do is that when they want to remind themselves to create a video for someone, they use a third-party software, or maybe they even write it down. Maybe they use Slack, maybe it's an email. So now with Dubb, you can create those tasks directly within the Dubb dashboard. Let's take a look. So here is the new tasks feature, which is on the left navigation. And you'll notice this functions in a very similar way to how a CRM would work. So what you do is you create a task here. You can title it, add a description, associate a contact, associate a video, assign it to someone on your team, put a due date, and then of course the status. And then once that's done, then you have a list of tasks that you can go then and complete. Now, to add one more factor to this, we can automate a lot of this now. So when you're creating an automated workflow on Dubb, one of the things that you can do is that you can set up a tag for anyone that enters your ecosystem, whether they fill out a form or whether you manually add them as a contact. And then what you can do as a step is to create a task as part of your automated workflow. So we're really proud to announce this feature. We're really psyched to get some feedback. One of the other things that's kind of exciting about this is the ability to create a workflow based on a call to action being clicked. So this is just a smarter way to figure out who's interested, where the hand raises are, and then what you can do to follow up with people based on their interest. So thanks so much. Look forward to feedback.
Awesome. Those are some exciting new features. This is really just expanding the platform. I feel like, we're all about actionable videos being an easy way to send videos from wherever you are. But as you dig deeper into Dubb and the whole platform, we really want to provide multiple ways to just increase sales, leverage all of the data that you're receiving, organize as well. Through automation, the tasks feature I think is going to be huge for that. Just kind of organizing everything, and yeah, so onward and upward. Thank you for the comments. If you have any questions, be sure to ask us because we are live. And if you're watching on the replay, feel free to skip ahead because we're going to be talking about several topics that are pretty cool in this live stream. Thank you so much for the likes and the comments. I see those coming in now, some likes coming in. Ruben, what's next for this live stream?
Well, there's actually a number of things that we wanted to talk about in the theme of automation, because automation, I'm really passionate about it. It's a little bit of my background. I've gone through a process personally and professionally to kind of understand how we can use automation for marketing and for business. And I think really the goal is just to streamline our life, put less effort into things and just get more results, more things, have fun in the process, spend less time, be able to do the things that we want to do, spend time with our family, enjoy ourselves, go hiking, biking, whatever it is that we enjoy. If we use technology, then we can save time and just be more successful. So I think we have a nice little itinerary here of things that we can present on how people can use automation immediately in their lives right now. So I've got a couple of tabs that I'm happy to share here on things that I've just learned along the way.
Cool. Awesome. I'm excited to dive in.
Yeah. All right. So the first thing is, this is actually one of my favorites. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So, a lot of people want email automation, and email automation is powerful. And I'm going to get into how we can set up more robust email drip sequences, campaigns, things like that. But actually, the easiest form of email automation is just a vacation responder. So if you just go to your Gmail account, you'll notice within the settings within general, you'll notice that there's an ability to create a vacation responder. Now, when you create a vacation responder, you don't have to be on vacation to do so. I don't know why they call it that. It's just basically an autoresponder. So what I encourage people to do, whether you're too busy to respond to emails within the first 5 minutes, which is the best practice, or not, I actually recommend that people set up an autoresponder for all their emails. And the reason why is because it's just a good way to include links to all the things that are going on in your world, your YouTube channel, your LinkedIn account, your Twitter, your Instagram, whatever it is, wherever you want to drive traffic to, just put a nice little autoresponder. That way, anytime someone emails you, they instantly get an email back. Now, it can say something in the top like, hey, I'm super passionate about responding to every single one of my emails. Typically, it takes me, 24 hours or 2 hours, whatever the information is relevant for you. I think it's important to put there so that people kind of expect that human response. But just putting that autoresponder is just going to be a really quick way to instantly get people links to the stuff that's in your world, your blog posts, your LinkedIn. Again, there's so many different things that we're driving traffic to. So that's kind of the first thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think the next thing that I'm kind of a big fan of is Google Trends. And, we're all sort of surfing the trends for our business and for our, both professionally and personally. One of the things that we're obviously interested in is automation. So, when we start to follow these trends using Google, what we can do is we can automatically send notifications so that we receive emails. It's either us, it's people on our team, and then we can kind of stay ahead of the zeitgeist. This is just a quick little skinny on what automation looks like. So where people are searching for this, where it's interesting from a state perspective, geographic perspective, some of the related topics. So I think these are just ways that we can just become more intelligent, better kind of apprised about our industry, our world, whatever it is. So Google Trends, check it out.
I love Google Trends, and it's so easy to quickly look at it and then leave without any takeaways. But if you dive into it a little bit deeper, it's a powerful platform. I'd also check out a website called Glimpse and explodingtopics.com. Glimpse is sort of the paid version of that, but Exploding Topics is free, and it shows you topics that are trending in real time. And it's pretty interesting to see. And they're trying to, they show you if the topics have either peaked or, they're regular, or if they're kind of exploding topics. And that can help you choose what kind of content to create and see what the zeitgeist is, see what people are interested in at this moment. And of course, there's a lot of tools trying to track that data. And these are just the first few that I've noticed popping up in this space. So definitely keep an eye on the tools and the trends, or rather the tools to track the trends, because your instincts are great, but also some charts and some hard data can go a long way.
Well, I think this is really relevant for figuring out what topics to explore. I mean, I think one of the things that people suffer from, creators, content creators, video producers, what they suffer from is what topics should we explore, So there's that nebulous trending topics, which I think, Shannon, you kind of let me know a little bit about on YouTube, where it's really hard to figure out what those mean. When I go to the trending topics on YouTube, I mostly see like music videos or kind of stuff that's sort of inaccessible, maybe a little bit unattainable. Whereas I think something like this is going to show us what people are actively searching for. And then I think the most important thing is being ahead of the topic wave, as opposed to on top of it or at the end of it. You have a famous quote from Naval that you like to mention. I think that's kind of relevant,
Oh, yes, the lottery numbers.
Yeah, betting on someone else's lottery number, buying someone else's lottery numbers, used old unwon lottery numbers. So I think a lot of that is relevant here. I think another thing that I'd like to see people doing more is just A/B testing, general A/B testing. A lot of people don't know this, but Google actually has a free tool for A/B testing. So Google Optimize is available. I think you can just request an invite, and I think you'll get access pretty quickly. Now, I think there's some limitations to it. I think you can have five campaigns, a max, that are live, but you can do a lot with 5 campaigns. So this is just an example of how to use Google Optimize. I think the other more well-known landing page A/B testing platform is Optimizely. So take a look at that one. It's a little bit more expensive, maybe more robust, but Google Optimize is a great place to start. And I think that this is just a great place to have 2 different variations of your website. you can have a single variant or you can have multiple variants. So there's you can structure it a little bit differently. You can also have forwarding. You can forward to this URL or forward to that URL. So right now on dubb.com, if you go there, you're probably going to see, if not now, in a future campaign, you will see two different variations. It could be the hero message, it could be the image, or it could be two completely different images. Another thing that we like to A/B test is the video. Should we have a 15-second video? Should we have a 60-second video? So A/B testing is a really great way to have just smarter automation and just to figure out ways to just get more conversions and get more results. I mean, a lot of people focus on spending more money on advertising, more original content, more kind of outreach, and they don't necessarily optimize what's happening on their homepage. So we've definitely been guilty of this. We're trying to do a better job at this, and it just takes the right regimen, it takes the right technology, it takes the right sort of attention to go and on a weekly basis, just kind of check out what's working and what's not. And then based on, data, based on what the conversion rate is, the lift in the conversion rate, then you can make your choice. So sometimes it's subtle. So for example, in this case, it's a conversion rate increase of 0.4%. But if we do this every single week, 0.4% starts to add up. Over the course of, 10 weeks of doing tests every single week, we can increase our conversion rate by multiple points, which is significant, especially if you're, in e-commerce and you're trying to get, transactions.
Thank you so much for the comments, Harry. Thank you so much for this comment. And of course, Xavier, thank you so much. And we're going to do a little Q&A session at the end of this live stream. So hang in there with us for any more technical questions. Maybe we can do a quick few questions here, but Ruben and I will go ahead and answer that. For live streaming, we do use StreamYard, which is our preferred service, and you can go to dubb.com/StreamYard, which is our little affiliate link, so you can help us out. And also check out StreamYard, which is a great service used by a lot of creators. So yeah, thank you for watching. Google Optimize is so powerful. If anyone's not using Google Optimize, highly recommend it. That was an awesome little demo you gave, Ruben, because I feel like it's the same thing. If you hear these words A/B testing, and a lot of you probably know, you're like, yeah, A/B testing, no problem. But if you're someone who thinks of A/B testing and maybe has not tried it out yet, highly recommend it, especially for landing pages, like website full landing pages, because especially in front of businesses, because small little things like changing the copy of the main title of your site. Maybe your site says sell more with my product. If you change that to grow more with my product, you might see a 0.2% lift. So that can be really impactful. So that's why A/B testing is really interesting. And also it can help the creative too, and it can help guide the creative, because for any A/B testing, you have to come up with 2 or 3 options. You submit those options within 2 weeks. You're like, wow, grow more with my product did 2% better than sell more with my product. For some reason, that headline on your site did better. So now we're going to go with grow more. And maybe the term growth for some reason is doing better. And then that can allow you to pivot that language throughout your marketing. So small, really small changes can have big impacts. And that's what A/B testing is all about. I was just on a Zoom call with Ruben the other day, and we were both on Asana, and we noticed the upgrade button in Asana was a different color for both of us. For Ruben, it was like a gradient and multicolored, and for me, it was just a solid color. So those are the kind of things that big companies are doing. They're testing, just even things like the color of buttons. They're testing everything. So I think anyone who has a business and has a front page of their website, it's a good idea to try that out and see what the results are.
Nice. Yeah, I think another thing that I think is good for people to do is to automate social media. There's a lot of different ways to automate posting of social posts. My biggest complaint with social media automation is, number one, is that I at least haven't seen the ability to post video. And I think the reason why it's a challenge to post video natively to social platforms is because there's just data. It's a CDN issue. You upload a 100 meg file, and then how does that get transferred over to LinkedIn or Facebook. So I think what a lot of software platforms have done is they've created the ability to create a landing page. So I think Buffer.com does this, which is another kind of competitor to Hootsuite. And your video gets hosted on a Buffer generated website. And then I think the challenge with that, though, is that if you do post a third-party link on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, sometimes it gets demoted. Sometimes those social networks, the algorithms don't really favor it because it's not natively posted. So, barring that sort of limitation with social media automation, we're big fans. It's a good way to monitor what's happening on your social channels, on keywords, on hashtags, on your username, kind of figure out where you're getting earned media. Are people posting, customer service requests on your Twitter account, but then also the ability to automate your posting. And, images are really good for this. Quotes are really good for this. Text is really good for this. You can automate an entire month of content within a couple of hours if you just focus on it, get your content in order, get your photos, get your captions, get your links. If you just get yourself organized, you can automate an entire month. So I think that's pretty cool. Social media automation is very cool. Check it out.
Yeah, and Hootsuite is a great platform, but there's a ton of different platforms. I even see on Product Hunt, little small. I always like to support smaller startups that are launching with cool products and try them out. So I encourage you to go on Product Hunt and search, social media distribution or scheduling software, and find a smaller startup. You don't have to go with Hootsuite because there's a lot of ones that are smaller, and honestly, the products are better a lot of times with smaller companies. And as speaking of, we're a growing company ourselves. So we like to support other small companies. But that being said, we use a combination of platforms. I personally like to use the newer evolving ones. But if you have a really something you need to trust in a big company, then Hootsuite obviously becomes the preferred one. But I always like to dip my toes into the evolving products and the newer products just to see. And also support them and see how they work. So that's one thing I recommend.
Yeah. Another thing that we are huge fans of that we love to share and kind of evangelize is the ability to integrate your technology, right? So automation is only as powerful as your integrations are. Typically with any salesperson or marketer, really business person now, you have your stack. You have maybe Slack, maybe Asana for project management, maybe some sort of a CRM, maybe Dubb for your video communication, maybe Zoom. And there's just a lot of different ways to sync all that information, contact syncing, customer journey tracking. So Dubb has a really powerful integration with PieSync, which now integrates with over 220 other apps. So sync your contacts up, get all the tags in order, understand what people are doing within your ecosystem, and then manage that throughout all your software. It's very powerful, and it's going to save you a lot of time because, if you're like us, you spend a lot of time creating content and doing outreach, and why not sort of automate the ways in which you manage the information? So if you're interested in learning more about how to integrate Dubb with other platforms or other platforms with other platforms, take a look at piesync.com/Dubb. And in case you want to integrate Dubb with Dubb, you can also use PieSync here. So if you want to integrate Dubb with Dubb.
How does that work?
I have no idea.
Dubb Inception. It's
Yeah.
Dubb Inception. It's an infinite. Actually, that's the unlock for infinite growth. Is if you integrate Dubb with Dubb, and then it's an infinite loop of business growth.
It's a little self-reflexive and meta here, but
yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And everyone, if you want to hear more of our powerful features, definitely check out Dubb.com. There's more than we just announced today, and we frequently announce new features, if you've noticed. So be sure to stay tuned to our Facebook page, our LinkedIn page, but also we have a support channel on YouTube. In addition to our standard kind of more entertaining YouTube channel that has produced content, we have a support channel with produced content, but it's tutorial, it's educational, it's really valuable. It's live streams like this, it's new feature updates. So the support channel is awesome. If you search Dubb on YouTube, you can find our main channel. And then in the sidebar, you can find Dubb support right on our channel page. So thank you so much for any of the subscribers out there. If you're a subscriber of Dubb on YouTube, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We're trying to entertain and delight as much as we can. So yeah, we got a. Oh, thank you so much, Mark. Thank you, Mark. This is why we love live streams, because we get to talk to you. If there's any questions, drop those. I think there were some more technical questions regarding, is there a way to send more than 5,000 emails? Chris, if you're still on the line, I would reference you to support.dubb.com for more technical details about that. That's a pro use for sure, and I'm sure either support.dubb will help you, or we can reach out and help. But thank you so much to everyone who's commented, and Mark, thank you. Yeah, it's been a good broadcast. What else we got on the roster?
Well, I could keep going here. I can talk about automation for days.
Let's do it.
Maybe I'll give just a couple more kind of helpful tips on automation. I think another one is, this is actually Mautic. And Mautic is a very unknown marketing automation tool that's very enterprise grade. Now, it requires that you set up your own server, and it's very technical, and you probably need a programmer to help you. We started to use Mautic to kind of get some ideas and to also automate a lot of our marketing. And then, as a lot of people know, we started to just build out a lot of the technology within Dubb itself. So Dubb now has automated workflows. There's a lot of different things that you can do, automated drip sequences, even SMS drip sequences. But what I'd like to show here on Mautic is the ability to track the customer journey. And this is actually something that I think we all need to do a better job at, because there's so much like gold in here. There's so much information in here. And this is just it's just basically a contact, and it shows all of the activity that this contact has done within our ecosystem. So it shows that they were added to a segment. It shows that they went to a website here. They had a page hit. It shows some of the tags that were associated with their account. In this case, it shows that they went to the subscription page. So if I knew all the people that went to the subscription page, which is of course our e-commerce page, I can make better decisions, and I can outreach to these people and say, hey, I noticed that you went to our subscription page, but you didn't convert. Is there anything that we can do to support you, to help you? And maybe we could even create an automated workflow to automatically email them and say, hey, we noticed that you didn't complete your subscription. Is there anything that we can do to get you over the finish line here? Maybe here's a discount code, or maybe here's some features that you didn't know about. Just that idea of automating things based on customer journey, I think is going to be one of the most powerful things that we can do, not even as sales and marketers, but just as business people.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Another thing that we've been talking about a lot is voice to text. Okay. So voice to text, there's a lot of different ways that we can do that. So right now, one of my favorite, I think the simplest ways to use voice to text is just to use Apple's, well, I guess both Windows and Mac have their own version of this. But what I'll do is I'll just show you a quick way to take a notepad file here and to use voice to text. So in this case, I'm just going to click the function key twice. That's my shortcut. And then when you do that, what happens is this little icon, this little feature is going to appear here, and it's going to start to type in the things that I say. So it's pretty good, but it's not perfect. Okay. And, I just recommend that if people are indisposed, maybe they're holding their kid, maybe they're making some coffee, this is just a really simple way to just dictate onto a notepad, onto your phone. You can do this on your phone, you can do this on your desktop, and you can just start to create text, right? You can write a blog post, you can write an email, very, very powerful. Speaking of blog posts, there's kind of this thing that we recommend that people do, which is to take a video and then create a blog post out of that. So now let me explain what that means. Here's a video that we uploaded, and then I've generated the captions using the Dubb transcribe feature. So what I can do is I can download a text file here. And then once I download that text file, I get my entire video here in text format. And then all I have to do to post this to, let's say, my blog is just to paste this information into a post. So I can just copy, paste. I can do some formatting so that it's very clear that this is captions, but this is just a great way to convert voice to text and create blog posts out of that. So also recommend that people start to do that whenever possible. One of the things that we do at Dubb is we shoot the video, we create the blog post, we put the text captions in there, and then what we do is we have a writer go back in and then take that text and then convert that into a fully written blog post. And that gets us a week or two ahead of schedule in terms of getting our content indexed by Google. So Google now knows that there's a blog post created on that, and then we can go and just iterate that blog post. So encourage you guys to check out that feature. Works pretty well. Yeah, and I think there's kind of two more things that I'll share real quick, just in terms of tips and tricks, actionable things that we can do for automation. I think the next thing is just getting a calendar page. I talk about this a lot, but I think everyone should have a calendar page. Go to Calendly, go to Book Like a Boss, go to Acuity Scheduler, go to Schedule Once. I think Outlook 365 has some sort of a public calendar like this. And what you can do is in this case, I'm using the Dubb calendar integration. So in this case, I can put a video of myself, but then I can also have my calendar integrated directly on my video page. And this is valuable because people can book a time in my calendar. I don't need to go back and forth writing emails or text messages or phone calls trying to coordinate a time. And then also, I think more importantly is everyone gets automatic notifications. So I have 3 notifications set up. I think 1 day, 1 hour, and 10 minutes. And then they always have a link to where we're supposed to meet. And I don't need to bother people. And my show up rates are really high because people know where to meet. The show up rates can be really high. So highly recommend people to check out that. And then I think the last thing that I'll kind of share is on Slack. We're power users of Slack. So I'll give a quick demo on how we use Slack in some ways. So the first thing is anytime someone fills out a form, what happens is we like to have a certain channel populate with information. So we have different channels based on signups or based on leads or based on anything that we have, we can kind of automate that. And then I think the next thing that we'll do, and I think this is the final thing that I'm going to do for automation tips and tricks, is Slack's remind function. So if I just type in /remind at Ruben, take out the trash. That's going to create an auto reminder in my Slack, and then it's going to remind me. So who knew that Slack could be used as a reminding tool? And there it is.
That's awesome. No, that can be super useful. I use that frequently. I feel a great part of automation hacks is trying to reduce the amount of steps that you have to take to do any certain task. It's allowing you to streamline your whole workflow. And Apple has the shortcuts app that they announced with iOS 12. And now they have an iOS 13 as well. And it allows you to create essentially just automation workflows that are built in to the platform. So if you don't know about this, it's a pretty cool feature of iOS. And I think, and there are, of course, equivalents for Android. If this, then that, you may have heard of. It's a great platform for automation. It allows you to set up triggers. You can say, oh, well, if I tweet something, I want if this, then that to take that tweet and distribute it on Facebook, or to save it to your Evernote, or to do something like that. So that's if this, then that. And then Apple Shortcuts is kind of Apple's response to automation. I think they acquired a startup called Workflow a few years ago, and essentially it's very powerful. But this is the thing with automation. There's this kind of barrier to entry with automation, where automation can seem so complex, and there's so many things you're gonna have to set up. And what is really the use? What's the point? But once you do that work, once you get through the work of setting it up and essentially coding the workflow, you don't actually have to use real code, but you're setting up actions. If this happens, then do that. That's the essence of what code is. So, when you graphically use these graphical tools and these applications like Apple Shortcuts or if this, then that, to essentially code and create these, you can get more things done. That's what Apple says on their website. They say, Shortcuts lets you create custom shortcuts with multiple steps you can use with your favorite apps. It's a quick way to get one or more tasks done with your apps. So even that to me is not a great value prop. But I think even Apple could work on their pitch for what automation is. They say it's a quick way to get one or more tasks done, and that's true. But I feel the true potential of what automation is more than just getting one or two tasks done. It's really reducing the amount of think time per task and allowing you to do more. And time, we all know, time is money. So if you can spend less time doing certain tasks, you spend more time making money. So that's why we think automation is such a great and kind of overlooked as well, a great tool. And if you put in the work to learn it and to learn these tools, because you don't have to code, that you can, even though they're kind of hard to get the concepts, once you get that concept, you don't have to code. You can just use these apps, these tools to build essentially your own little workflows, your own apps. It really is kind of building your own apps. I think that's a cool way to think of it. Automation allows you to build your own applications, and they're micro applications. They're just, they're small little applications. It might just be, I'm using it to, every time I tweet, then that gets distributed on Facebook. That's a small little application that you can create. So it's a lot of cool use cases for sure. Yes, IFTTT. If this, then that. That's the website. I should have mentioned IFTTT is the name of if this, then that. It's a really cool startup. Thank you, Harry. Really cool startup. They've been going for a few years. But yeah. So that's automation.
Yeah, even on the devices that we have, there's automation. Even on a phone. Hey Siri, record a video. Records a video. Hey GoPro, start recording. These simple devices have automation built right into them, so that we can just make our lives easier. I mean, if we set up a phone, next to us and we just want to record something, let's just tell Siri or even GoPro, and the job will get done. Even lighting. I mean, even our lighting. One of the things that I love doing personally is just setting up automation into lighting setups or electronics. Hey Alexa.
Your mobile device has lost connection to the internet. Please try again a bit later.
And there you have it, automation.
Wait, do it again. I want to see your cool automation setup.
Well, actually, I had, in automation's defense, I had airplane mode on, which is a form of automation, or the lack of automation, because I didn't get disturbed on this live stream. So let's try that again. Hey Alexa, turn the studio off.
Okay.
Just kidding. It's not. We're still here.
Yeah.
You thought it was over, but it's not. That's really cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's more and more these kind of automation hacks are going to be integrated into homes, into apartments, So it's going to be an interesting journey, probably for the next 5 years. Automation is going to become more and more a part of people's lives.
Hey Alexa, take out the trash.
No. Hey Alexa, I have an itch right here. Hey Alexa, hey Alexa, could I have a veggie stir fry with extra tofu? All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone on the live stream. This has been a very exciting Dubb broadcast. Be sure to check out dubb.com, and And yeah, oh wait, we have a quick question on the way out. How do you document your automations? That's an interesting question. How do you document your automations? That could be a different layout. The way I take that question is you have so many different platforms to automate, whether it's if this then that, or Apple shortcuts. Right, yeah, that's interesting. So sometimes one automation involves a lot of tools. That's true. That's true. I think you have to pick which ones work for you is the answer. Also, we're triggering everyone's we're triggering. Apologies for that. Yes, if the tool breaks, the automation stops for sure. That's why, yeah, and that's a big thing we've covered on today's broadcast. Like, you really have to pick your tools very intentionally. And if it's an Apple, for example, the Apple shortcuts, or if this then that, which is a service that's been around for a while, you can trust it. Right, and if it's one tool, I guess there is a certain amount of trust, but it's still it's useful while it is working. So I think that's the way of documenting it. I don't think you necessarily need to. It's just trying to make it so it's set up, and then you don't have to worry about it. And maybe there's a automation that lets you know if it's broken.
Yeah. One of the tools that I like to use for that is actually Google Drawings. And Google Drawings recently allowed the ability to expand the canvas. And one of the things that we do for a lot of our automation workflows is that we just put all the workflow steps, and that's actually our strategy process as well. So if we have an email drip sequence, we'll say, this is the start of the sequence, and then we'll have a little box that represents each individual, email or delay or trigger or anything that's going to happen in that process. And that's just, again, a way for us to strategize, but then also a way for us to document. But really what happens is, as we start to make iterations and make edits, it's kind of hard to manage those two things. So I think what a lot of marketing automation platforms are doing now is that they're making them visual. So when you have a workflow, it actually appears in sort of a visual format. So Dubb does have that on the automated workflows. It does have a visual. So maybe just take a screenshot of that, or just have that be a reference that you go back to figure out where your automations are.
Cool. Thank you so much for watching this live stream. Yeah. Anything else, Ruben?
No, thank you guys so much for the support, and automate your life.
Absolutely. Automate your life, and learn more about Dubb at dubb.com. Thank you so much for watching this live stream, and we'll catch you next time.